Hi there. Welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries. And this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We are powered by right-wing news. You can also see us on Liberty One TV. But more importantly, I want to know who you are and where you're deplorable from. And I want to know, what do you think of that Zuck? You think, man, that Zuckerberg boy, was he great today? Oh, man, I am so impressed with that kid. Man, I just think he's fantastic. Or something else. Check in right now, right here on this Facebook page. Again, we are powered by right-wing news. You can watch us on Liberty One TV, and we are sponsored by our good friends at the HearMeOut app. And if you are not as impressed with Mark Zuckerberg as the fellers on Facebook would like you to be, well, you might want to follow me on the HearMeOut app. They are a great organization. They are not data mining. They are not lying, cheating, stealing. They are just there so you can have a voice. And they believe more voices are better than less. Okay, so check in if you would please, quickly. Susan's there. Ale is there. Hi, Kim. Hi, Kara. Kara says, hey, my friend Ted Cruz owned the Zuck today. I'm going to play that clip coming up in just a minute. Billy's there. Aaron's there listening. Susan from Buffalo, New York. Kara says, share this page, gang. Would you please share this page? Will you please share this video right now? We have too many people that are not seeing the truth these days. It is too easy to silence right-wing and conservative news. There was another story out today by Breitbart that showed that pages like Breitbart are down nearly 80% in traffic over the past few months, while magically the New York Times and the Huffington Post are up 25 and 30%. So they're doing better in this time. Conservative pages like this one are doing worse, and it's because of guys like the Zuck. Oh, the Zuck. Rodney's there. Hey, Rodney, how are you, brother? Jack is there. Mary. Howdy, Rusty. How's your day been? California conservative deplorable. My day's been going well. Thank you, Mary. I'm working on a documentary, and I've been working pretty hard on it. It's about Americans overseas under attack, and how businesses around the world just think that us Americans are a bunch of chumps and suckers. And so I'm working on that documentary right now. Rodney says he skated, of course. Half the Jamooks question him, own stock in Facebook. There's that, and also they have no idea what they're talking about. And here's one of the things that's happening. You remember yesterday and today, the big news. I saw it on Fox News, and it made me laugh. Facebook is thinking about charging people so that they can opt out of having their data collected. And Congressman on Fox News all day today, what? Over my dead body, is Facebook going to charge anybody so that their data isn't safe and secure? And I went, hey, Zuckerberg already won. The Zuck won. Well, what do you mean, Rusty? He's never going to charge people to opt out. It's one of the oldest negotiating ploys on record. Right? What it is he was never going to do it, right? So you throw that out there, and then the congressmen who are stupid, and they fall for it every time. We're not going to let you do that and charge the American people for their privacy, Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark's going to go, okay, you guys beat me up enough. You win. You congressman, you beat me. You win. What? You mean you're not going to do it? Nope. No, I'm giving in to your superior negotiating skills, Senator and Congressman. And they're going to go, golly jeepers, we got to win. Good. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Thank you. And then all the other stuff that the Zuck is working on, Congress isn't paying attention to it. And so it's going to go through. That's what's going on right now. That's what's happening. And, Trump has been right for a long time. Our congressmen and senators are suckers. They're the worst negotiators ever. They're just terrible. So that's what's happening. Barbara's there. Sandra's there. Kara says, would you please invite your friends and family to join the rebellion here? Yes, Kara's good. Everybody, do me a favor. Give Kara some thumbs ups for that. Kara is awesome, and she's saying, you know what? We need to have these messages out there. We need the word to be spread. So please share the video. Share the video. Share the video. And give Kara some thumbs ups. And everybody else, give yourself some thumbs ups too, would you please? And so, hearts, sure. Daniel says there's bigger fish to fry than Facebook. No, there's not. Facebook, I've been reading a book. It's called The Four Horsemen of the Internet. Written by not a conservative, by the way, a pretty liberal guy, professor. I forget the guy's name. But it's about Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple. And according to him, Facebook is the largest thing ever created. Ever. And by the way, as the largest thing ever created, they only have about 135,000 employees. So I want you to think about that, of how much profit is coming in there. Okay? So when you say it's bigger fish to fry, absolutely not. Now, here's the thing that I find funny. What they're trying to suggest is you are so stupid that if the Russians bought advertising and you saw it popped up on your screen, you'd go, must follow. Must follow Facebook. Must follow Russian ad. See, I don't care if the Russians advertised. I don't. I want more voices, not less. I want freedom of speech, whether it's Russia, Canada, China, Japan, America, Democrats, communists. It should all be out there. But the point is, it should all be out there. The American people need to be smart enough to be able to say, oh, okay. And by the way, a lot of that stuff that the Russians put out was nothing. Again, this is another attempt to take off the air, take off this platform, guys like me and Breitbart and my friend Ben Shapiro and Rodney Lee Conover and Rob Carson and a lot of these other great guys who are doing shows online. It's an attempt to silence us and say, well, the gatekeepers need to be the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC and everybody but us. And see, that's the wrong answer. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I can do a very conservative program and tell you what I think and feel. But I also can be a very straight down the middle journalist and tell you the story. These guys on the left can't do that. They have no, I don't know if it's training. They just have no inclination to separate themselves and their opinion from the story. Janice says Zuck got zucked. William is Wisconsin proud. Terry says this is local Sherry's in North Carolina. Terry says showboating by all involved put Zuckerfeller under oath. Well, absolutely should be under oath. That is true. Terry thinks, I guess, that this is the nut job channel. So far, I'd like to know if you think what I'm saying is nut jobby. What exactly have I said that's been nut jobby? Right now, I'm just telling you the facts. I know that's not what Democrats are very fond of. They want emotions. They want to be, they want the echo chamber. They want social proof to tell them what to think and what to do. I'm encouraging you to think and listen and not follow like Congress thinks you're doing. Let's see here. Maine's there, making America great again. That's Gail. Carolyn's there from Ashland, Ohio. Kate says, loved it when the Zuck started stuttering. Terry says, I'm a nut job. Can I join? No, we don't like nut jobs. We don't like people who use their brains. Linda says, I think he was scared to death and then he lied. Daniel says, leave Mark alone. The government is in the toilet. You don't want to say. No, the government is in the toilet. Absolutely. Let's see here. Zuck needed a booster seat. He got schooled by Ted Cruz. Lori says, hey, Rusty, Donna's there. Stacy's there. Tamara says, I think it was more of a donut than a booster seat. I guess he had to sit in a booster seat. All right, let's watch the schooling that the Zuck had with Ted Cruz. Did an awesome job. A couple of minutes here. Let's watch it here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
Mr. Zuckerberg, does Facebook consider itself a neutral public forum?
Senator, we consider ourselves to be a platform for all ideas.
Let me ask the question again. Does Facebook consider itself to be a neutral public forum? And representatives of your company have given conflicting answers on this. Are you a First Amendment speaker expressing your views, or are you a neutral public forum allowing everyone to speak?
Senator, here's how we think about this. I don't believe that there is certain content that clearly we do not allow, right? Hate speech, terrorist content, nudity, anything that makes people feel unsafe in the community. From that perspective, that's why we generally try to refer to what we do as a platform for all ideas.
Let me try, just because the time is constrained. It's just a simple question. The predicate for Section 230 immunity under the CDA is that you are a neutral public forum. Do you consider yourself a neutral public forum, or are you engaged in political speech, which is your right under the First Amendment?
Look at the Zuckerberg. He's looking scared there.
Well, Senator, our goal is certainly not to engage in political speech. I'm not that familiar with the specific legal language of the law that you speak to, so I would need to follow up with you on that. I'm just trying to...
I don't want to interrupt, but then again, yes, I do. You would think that one of the richest guys in the world, a guy who has billions of dollars to lose here, might do his homework a little bit better. But see, this is part of the game plan too. Let me tell you, I've got a friend who is a very wealthy guy. And he has a company that is in the public forum, and about once a month, this was a while ago, so I don't know if it still happens, but about once a month, once every 2 months, he would get a phone call from his attorney, and he would say, okay, you need to fly to North Carolina and testify. Okay, thanks. And he would go up there, and the strategy was he didn't know anything. So they'd say, Mr. Smith, did you know about this? Nope. Well, on this date, this happened. Did you know that? Nope. Well, how about that? Nope. I never heard anything about it. No one ever told me. I don't know. And he didn't. And that was part of their legal strategy, because there's so many people out there that were looking for a free ride, and they would make stuff up. He never knew. And that was his strategy. That's kind of what the Zuck is doing here, okay? He's playing Congress. I ain't know nothing. Now, on basic questions, he's answering. He's very nervous. I mean, he's a young guy. I don't think he's 40 yet. But Barbara says it's not unusual if you're guilty to claim ignorance. It's a legal strategy. Do I like it? No, just telling you what they do. So let's get back to the Zuck and Ted Cruz giving him a cruise missile.
To lay out how broadly I think about this.
Well, Mr. Zuckerberg, I will say there are a great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook. In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, including stories about the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, including stories about Glenn Beck.
Who?
In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page, has blocked a post of a Fox News reporter,
Look at it, Zuckerberg.
has blocked over 24 Catholic pages, and most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community.
Awful.
To a great
Shocking,
many
awful.
Americans, that appears to be a pervasive pattern of political bias. Do you agree with that assessment?
Senator, let me say a few things about this. First, I understand where that concern is coming from because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place. And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out at the company, is making sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do. And I think it is a fair concern that that people would at least wonder about.
Let me ask this question. Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not, but let me just...
How about MoveOn.org?
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean, I'm not sure.
In your testimony, you say that you have 15 to 20,000 people working on security and content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
So as CEO, have you ever made hiring or firing decisions based on political positions or what candidates they supported?
No.
Why was Palmer Luckey fired?
That is a specific personnel matter that seems like it would be inappropriate to
You
speak
just made
to
a
here.
specific representation that you didn't make decisions based on political views.
Well,
Is that accurate?
I can commit that it was not because of a political view.
Do you know of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review, how many, if any, have ever supported financially a Republican candidate for office?
Senator, I do not know that.
Your testimony says it is not enough that we just connect people. We have to make sure those connections are positive. It says we have to make sure people aren't using their voice to hurt people or spread misinformation. We have a responsibility not just to build tools, to make sure those tools are used for good. Mr. Zuckerberg, do you feel it's your responsibility to assess users whether they are good and positive connections or ones that those 15 to 20,000 people deem unacceptable or deplorable?
Senator, you're asking about me personally?
Facebook.
Senator, I think that there are a number of things that we would all agree are clearly bad. Foreign interference in our elections, terrorism, self-harm.
I'm
Those
talking
are
about
things.
censorship.
Oh, well, I think that...
I'll tell you what, the lawyers wrote that good line for him. He remembered it almost word for word, and now he almost had a good comeback. Almost. But not good enough.
You would probably agree that we should remove terrorist propaganda from the service. So that, I agree, I think is clearly bad activity that we want to get down, and we're generally proud of how well we do at that. Now, what I can say, and I do want to get this in before the end here, is that I am very committed to making sure that Facebook is a platform for all ideas. That is a very important founding principle of what we do. We're proud of the discourse and the different ideas that people can share on the service, and that is something that, as long as I'm running the company, I'm going to be committed to making sure is the case.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cruz.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Let's see some of your comments now. What do you think? Do you feel better about the Zuck? Do you feel better about the testimony? Let's see here. I guess the Zuck did some stuff with Dianne Feinstein. Maybe I'll bring that up in a minute. I did not spend all day just sitting around watching the Zuck. But it's interesting, you know, what people have to understand. I mean, we've got, more comments here. Tammy says, don't freaking use Facebook if you're having a problem with it. I get it, but get over it. There are much more important things we need to focus on. Are we just letting them distract us from what's really important? Tammy, here's the problem. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Facebook is the biggest thing that has ever been created. It is possibly the most influential thing ever created. I think Jesus is more influential, but he wasn't created. Maybe the Bible, right? But when you talk about the billions of people that are on at the same time, there is nothing ever that has been bigger. All right? You could say the internet, But the internet never connected us as much as Facebook has. There was other Prodigy, there was AOL, Amazon doesn't really connect people. There was MySpace, but nothing has ever been as big or as powerful as Facebook. And their influence, even is much bigger than YouTube. And their influence is almost completely reaching every person on the planet. And the biggest problem I have when it comes to the censorship is that there have been millions of people and companies that have invested not only their time, but their fortunes, their dreams, to get on a place to be able to reach people like you. And some of them are very, very good people. And they built businesses. And as they built businesses, the rules changed. At the beginning, it was fairly easy. And then it got harder and harder. But then it started getting more and more expensive. And it didn't cost you anything. But people who advertised on Facebook, and I did a little bit, but not much. But I mean, I know some people that were spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month to get their message to you, or try to anyway. Facebook took their money and then went, we changed our mind. You don't believe the way we want you to believe. You aren't saying what we want you to say, and so we're going to destroy your livelihood. And so that is very important. And the whole data mining thing was brilliant under Obama. Under Trump, it's the end of the world. So you have to understand the power and influence, okay? Because it is very, very important. And you can't just say, well, it's just Facebook, it's just entertainment. It is entertainment that is, in a lot of ways, you can use the term brainwashing because it has affected so many people, whether you like it or not. Let's see. Kyle says, it is amazing how he can't say his company is neutral. By the way, I hear that in California, a waiter can go to jail for giving you a straw. Ha, ha, ha. I had seen something like that. Let's see here. You want to see some more of this? A little bit of it? Joseph, they want to make, Jor Cordoza, Mary says, they want to make 13 counties in the foothills to be the state of Jefferson. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, it's Northern California, Southern Oregon. I used to drive through that all the time. Let's see here. Randy says, I have to be careful of what I comment on the basis that they may say I'm a hater. I am not. I do not swear enough. Therefore, I am evil. Okay. Zuck wants power. Rich people think they are unreachable. Well, again, he's in the same position, and I called this a few months ago. I said the government's going to come down sometime soon. And I'm like, oh, well, it's never going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen, and it is happening. Aaron says, we need to build a network like Facebook for conservatives. I would pay for sure. You probably wouldn't, Aaron. Let's just be honest. People say they will. Heck, I have all of you downloaded the HearMeOut app and followed me. That costs absolutely nothing. All you have to do is go to your phone, and however you download your apps, whether it's on an Apple or an Android, all you do is download it, sign up for it, and then follow me, Rusty Humphries. That doesn't cost you a nickel. Never will. And you can listen to my comments, and you can comment too and be a part of things, and we can have another platform. But about 10% have signed up. That's about it. And it's there waiting, and it's like Twitter, but it's audio, and it's interesting, and it's fun, and it's 41 seconds of your thoughts or mine or your neighbors or whatever. And again, people say, I'll move to the next thing. Well, You haven't moved to Hear Me Out yet, have you? It's your fault if you make that choose. Well, I don't want to say it's your fault. It's your decision. You don't have to download anything. I would appreciate it. It would make my life better, and I think yours too. I mean, imagine, if you will, what will happen if they shut this page down. And every conservative page, because it's considered to them speech they don't like. It could happen in the middle of this broadcast. Then what? Well, we'll find you someplace, Rusty. Will you? Do you have bookmarked rustylive.com? Now, see, I can tell you and give you updates on what's going on if you have the Hear Me Out app. I fear for our republic if we don't have a backdoor way of communication. And I do think that Hear Me Out is a good way to do it. I just need more of you to find me and follow me and hear me out. Okay? Please do that if you would, please. Mark says, I'm 64. I have no fear of what I say about these criminals. However, if I'm found dead tomorrow, please don't contact the FBI. Okay. Bill says, get off Facebook. Check out infinitysn.com. Support them. They will get a big bang if they are conservative based. I keep hearing that, but then I haven't seen much, right? Again, what's wrong with Hear Me Out? That's one that works right now. All right, let's look a little bit more at the Zuck as he's trying to out Zuck the Congress, and I want your comments as we roll it through. Would you please, Senator? Is it Grassley here? Yeah.
We welcome everyone to today's hearing on Facebook's social media privacy and the use and
I'm already bored.
Chairman Thune for his opening statement.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. Today's hearing is extraordinary. It's extraordinary to hold a joint committee hearing. It's even more extraordinary to have a single CEO testify before nearly half of the United States Senate. But then Facebook is pretty extraordinary. More than 2 billion people use Facebook every month. 1.4 billion people use it every day. More than the population of any country on earth except China, and more than 4 times the population of the United States. It's also more than 1,500 times the population of my home state of South Dakota. Plus, roughly 45% of American adults report getting at least some of their news from Facebook. In many respects, Facebook's incredible reach is why we're here today. We're here because of what you, Mr. Zuckerberg, have described as a breach of trust. A quiz app used by approximately 300,000 people led to information about 87 million Facebook users being obtained by the company Cambridge Analytica. There are plenty of questions about the behavior of Cambridge Analytica, and we expect to hold a future hearing on Cambridge and similar firms. But as you said, this is not likely to be an isolated incident.
All right, I want to watch your thoughts as he's talking. I want your thumbs ups, your hearts, your sads, your mads. I want to know what you're thinking and comment right here.
Other apps that had access to large amounts of user data, you will ban them and tell those affected. And that's appropriate. But it's unlikely to be enough for the 2 billion Facebook users.
Hey, by the way, I just noticed on the sad thing that it goes that it nods no when you hit the mad face. That's kind of cool. All right.
The idea that for every
all right, he's already boring me.
I know Facebook is overwhelming bipartisan fashion for the scores of
that the IRA ran a coordinated campaign through 470 Facebook accounts and pages. The campaign included ads and false information to create discord and harm Secretary Clinton's campaign. And the content was seen by an estimated 157 million Americans. A month later, on March 17th, news broke that Cambridge Analytica exploited the personal information of approximately 50 million Facebook.
Okay, you know what I don't like about this? This is why I hate Congress. Let me just interrupt for a sec. Here's what I hate Congress and senators. She had to make it political. right? She had to go right for how it hurt Hillary. This is bad for everybody. What is happening is bad for everybody. And again, as you senators and congressmen are getting zucked, you think you're so smart, but you're not hitting the important parts. And the important parts is how you, Dianne Feinstein, and the Democrat Party want to silence speech you do not agree with. And we're not talking about hate speech or the Klan or a terrorist. We're talking about conservatives, strong people who love America and that want to stand by our constitutional republic and our laws and our founding fathers. This is what people like you hate. And you want to see it stop, and you want it taken off the air, and you want to make it so that no one else can hear it. And this is the problem. Cambridge Analytica is a very, very small part of this. It really is that big of a deal. Obama did it far more effectively than Trump ever did. The story, I will continue to remind you, is the censorship of conservative speech and the idea that the left wing should be able to control the media like they did before Ronald Reagan. That's the goal, is to silence speech like they've done on college campuses, to silence speech like they've done in high schools and junior highs and elementary schools and all across the country in Hollywood. That's what they want. That's what they are fighting for. And I'm fighting for freedom of speech, the open platform, the place where everyone gets an opportunity to say what he or she wants to say. Back to Dianne Feinstein.
Users without their knowledge or permission. And last week,
what are your comments?
We learned that number was even higher. 87 million Facebook users who had their private information taken without their consent. Specifically, using a personality quiz he created, Professor Kogan collected the personal information of 300,000 Facebook users and then collected data on millions of their friends. It appears which American
in 2004.
I want to hear the Zuck talk. All right,
Facebook. Moreover, Congress must
you guys have no idea what you're talking about.
Lied to Facebook, but did Facebook watch over the operations? We want to know that. All of us on.
No, you
further.
See, that's the thing. They don't want to know. They just want to talk. They want
to for fake news.
Here we go. Let's hear.
We got here. Facebook is an idealistic and optimistic company. For most of our existence, we focused on all of the good that connecting people can do. And as Facebook has grown, people everywhere have gotten a powerful new tool for staying connected to the people they love, for making their voices heard, and for building communities and businesses. Just recently, we've seen the Me Too movement and the March for Our Lives organized, at least in part, on Facebook.
And isn't it great that those two great liberal causes did great on Facebook and that Mark Zuckerberg's so proud of it? Isn't that great? I mean, hey, listen, I'm all for the idea of stopping sexual predators. I am. But that gun movement he's talking about, he's supporting getting rid of one of our rights, our constitutional rights, and listening to 17 and 18-year-olds to determine what we should or should not do. Yeah, Steve says March for Democrat voters. Yeah. Jeff said they are upset that Hillary lost the election that she had rigged. Russia had nothing to do with that election results. America didn't want a corrupt criminal like Hillary for their president, plain and simple. Very well said. You're absolutely right. All right, back to the Zuck. But I'm not going to just hit his written stuff. Who cares about that? Okay, because it's somebody else wrote it. Let's see what he had to see. A hashtag vote me out and any Republican act like them for a better tomorrow. All right, let's see here. Back to the Zuck.
After Hurricane Harvey, to work through all the changes we need to make across 2014 that would
developers who utilize your platform. As of early this year, you did not actively monitor whether that data was transferred by such developers to other parties. Moreover, your policies only prohibit transfers by developers to parties seeking to profit from such data.
Like he has any idea what he's talking about.
Besides Professor Kogan's transfer, and now potentially CubeU, do you know of any instances where user data was improperly transferred to third party in breach of Facebook's terms? If so, how many times has that happened? And was Facebook only made aware of that transfer by some...
Hey, what a waste of time. I'm sorry. What a waste of a question. What a waste. First of all, he's reading stuff he doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. And he's going to ask questions that this guy can't possibly answer. Or he can go, I don't know. Well, that what Ted Cruz did was very persuasive and very powerful. He talked about issues that you and I have. It affects our lives. We've all seen it. We know it. We know what's true. We know what's false. This yappity yap Chuck Grassley's talking about gets nowhere. It's a waste of time. Waste of time.
Third party.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. As I mentioned, we're now conducting a full investigation into every single app that had access to a large amount of information before we locked down platform to prevent developers from accessing this information around 2014. We believe that we're going to be investigating many apps, tens of thousands of apps, and if we find any suspicious activity, we're going to conduct a full audit of those apps to understand how they're using their data and if they're doing anything improper.
And the question's going to be, are they going to say, well, we don't like Breitbart, and Breitbart did it wrong, so we're going to shut them right down. I mean, we've got them down to about 25% of their audience before, so we're just going to shut them down. We're going to shut down Liberty One TV because they're doing something wrong. We're going to shut down CRTV. We're going to shut down Fox News. We don't like the way they're doing it. We're going to shut them down. And they can do it. But that is not the questions. Those are not the questions most in Congress are asking because they don't know what they're talking about. And the left loves what the Zuck is doing. You and I, we're being zucked. Zuck off. All right, a little more of the Zuck.
And if we find that they're doing anything improper, we'll ban them from Facebook, and we will tell everyone affected. As for past activity, I don't have all the examples of apps that we've banned here, but if you'd like, I can have my team follow up with you after this.
Have you ever required an audit to ensure the deletion of improperly transferred data? And if so, how many times?
Oh, come on.
Mr. Chairman, yes, we have. I don't have the exact figure on how many times we have, but overall, the way we've enforced our platform policies in the past is we have looked at patterns of how apps have used our APIs and accessed information, as well as looked into reports that people have made to us about apps that might be doing sketchy things. Going forward, we're going to take a more proactive position on this and do much more regular spot checks and other reviews of apps, as well as increasing the amount of audits that we do. And again, I can make sure that our team follows up with you on anything about the specific past stats that would be interesting.
All right, Zuck you. Zuck you. The problem is, listen, I have a lot of respect for you, Zuck. I do. You've accomplished a lot. And if you took a step back and said, we kind of had a better thing going when we made it open and fair and made it for everybody, I'm okay with that. Or if you want to have this journalistic thing where, you have more than just the New York Times and the Washington Post and all these liberal rags, he's going to have Rachel Maddow as one of the people that's going to determine what's true news and what's fake news. I'm exaggerating there, but that's kind of what we're talking about. I'm not against audit, Sherry. I'm against guys like this who have an agenda in their audit when they're auditing themselves. Okay? That's the problem. All right. Anyway, You can find more of the Zuck and the testimonies that happened, and this is a big deal. It is. I'll be honest, I like Facebook. I do. It bothers me that they've gone as far as they've gone. I enjoy Facebook. I like to look at it every day. Although I will tell you that I'm far less interested in it in the past few months just because it's boring. I'm seeing stuff from Easter and 2 weeks ago, and it's the same 10 people. And, I liked it when there was more. When there was more ideas. More exchanges between people. I hope that they can go back. And you don't have to go backwards. You find something in a new way to do it, great. But this idea of policing everybody, penalizing people just because you disagree with them, and again, to them, and this is the problem, these are guys that come right out of communist colleges and go right to work. They don't have real-world experience. They go from, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and then the college environments at Google and Facebook and the other places. Jeffrey's getting bored of the same recycled post. I am too. We have to make it so that everyone has a voice. It is not hard to determine what hate speech is. Hate speech is not speech because you disagree with it, right? The only speech that needs protection is that speech that you don't agree with. Where you can make the difference, and by the way, I don't even think hate speech is something that we should be looking for. It is speech that goes from the realm of the intellectual into the realm of the physical. When you encourage somebody to do something negatively physical, that's where hate speech or that's where speech is no longer protected, in my opinion. Steve says, Rusty's because they can't win on ideas, so they scream and shout down without facts, and they do it with emotion. Mark says, Zuck is playing to the demo blank bass, playing to the middle, won't admit to being the leftist because they're about to lose so much money. It's so sad, so global. Jack says, Rusty, find out who's paying Stormy Daniels' attorney and let the American people know. Don't tell us he's working for free. Attorneys don't work for free. Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, this idea that you can go and raid anybody's attorney's office is wrong. Oh, my God. And then to raid the office of the attorney of the President of the United States of America? Oh, my God. I mean, this is third world banana republic dictator, burn the Constitution, turn out the lights, it's all over, it's dogs and cats sleeping together. This is really, really bad. And the Democrats think it's funny. It is not. It is not. My friends, have you followed me on the Hear Me Out app? If you haven't downloaded it to your phone, will you please do that for me? It does mean something to me. It means a lot. It makes a difference. And that's how you can make a difference. Download the Hear Me Out app. Also, will you share this video? Comment too. Let us know who you are and where you're from. I do want to know. Comment here. Even after the show, I'll check it out. Here every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. Unless I got something else going on, and I don't do it on Fridays. I do appreciate you, though. My website, rustylive.com. My book is out there. It is a book of love. 7 ways to win political debates with your liberal family and friends and still keep them as family and friends. It's available on Amazon, in paperback, Kindle, and at Audible in the audio version. All right? Follow me in the Hear Me Out app. 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 Go and find the podcast, The Rusty Avery's Rebellion, and subscribe to it if you would, please. That makes a difference, too. That's it. I do appreciate you more than you know. May God bless you and may God bless America. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.